Happy from Wormy Collective, and in this video I'll be showing you how I made this ChatGPT and DALL-E powered pen plotter. So I basically created this pen plotter and wrote a code that makes use of the OpenAI API to generate a prompt using ChatGPT. This prompt will then be sent to DALL-E to generate an image. This image will then be drawn by the pen plotter. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I basically followed the tutorial created by How to Mechatronics. They outlined the entire process in written and video form, and I highly recommend you to check it out if you're planning to build your own pen plotter. I created mine with just one colored marker instead of having many color markers. I just didn't want to overcomplicate things, and I wanted to test to see what worked first. Other than the materials listed in the typed out tutorial, I also needed to get some additional materials such as springs, jumpers, and a piece of flexible plastic for wire organization, some sandpaper or files to sand off some of the rough surfaces from the 3D prints, and some WD-40 for lubricating. I also needed to purchase some M2 screws and nuts that could fit into the switches. So, let's get building. The tutorial on How to Mechatronics was amazingly documented, so I would highly recommend for you to just follow the tutorial and see what works for you. I shall hence be focusing on some hiccups that I faced or some modifications that I made from the tutorial. Hopefully, this will be helpful when it's your turn to make a pen plotter. As mentioned, I wanted to focus on using only one colored marker. I hence removed the pen holder and made the pen plotter symmetrical. I 3D printed duplicates of the supports needed on the right side to be used on the left side as well. Because I'm only using one pen, I also decided to modify the pen holder such that you can screw the pen holder directly onto the Z-axis support. You can then secure the pen using just a screw. Here's the difference between the original versus modified pen holder. That also meant that I took away the molder that helped with changing the pens. The end of the Y-axis was also really heavy and kept drooping down. I created an L-shaped support that the end of the plotter can easily slide into. I then made use of screws to keep the plotter and the support I made together. One flaw is that the base of the support is pretty big, and that meant a greater amount of friction exerted from the pen plotter onto the paper, which might cause a greater strain on the motors. However, for me, the motors were pretty strong and everything worked out well. I've also uploaded the STL file of the L-shaped support in the description below in case anyone would like to use it. I also sanded down the 3D printed parts that are in contact with each other and attached to the Z-axis motor for the pen to be lifted up and down. This really helped reduce the friction and allowed the pen to be lifted more smoothly and accurately. Some of the 3D files from the tutorial were also not the most fitting. For example, the thickness of the belt pulley seemed a little too big for the opening of its holder. I hence had to use a bit of force to make the gap larger. The linear ball bearings also seemed to be a little too big to fit into the holes of the 3D printed model that supports the pen on the Z-axis. I hence had to file the holes down so that the linear ball bearings can fit in nicely. Here's some footage of my process building the pen plotter. And here's a video of the pen plotter working for the first time. The Z-axis is a little wonky, but I was really happy when it first started working. I was then inspired by Eric Oates' video and decided to code a software that uses the OpenAI API to generate prompts using ChatGPT. The code would then automate an image to be created according to the prompt in DALL-E. Unfortunately though, I was unable to automate the uploading of image from DALL-E to the GRBL plotter. I reckon that it might require me to change or engineer the code in the GRBL plotter software, which I'm currently not skilled enough to do. However, if any of you guys manage to do it or have an idea on how to do it, please let me know in the comments below. The link to the code is in the description below. So here's the process of me running the code, generating a prompt using ChatGPT, and then this prompt is then used to generate a link using DALL-E. So the prompt generated by ChatGPT is: create a logo of a smiling sun in monochrome geometric shapes with white background. While the image generated by DALL-E is this. I then fed the image to the GRBL plotter software, and this was how it looked. It's time for me to test the plotter with my generated image. However, the z-axis of the plotter didn't seem to be doing what I wanted it to do. No matter how many times I adjusted the settings of the GRBL plotter software, the pen would then move down and draw on the paper when it wasn't supposed to, and then it will move up when it was supposed to be drawing. After many weeks of attempts combined with procrastination, helplessness, and resignation, I decided to call it a day for this project and document what I currently have. Overall though, the process was extremely fun and rewarding. I managed to create and understand the mechanics behind a pen plotter, which I've always wanted to do. It was also cool trying to link both ChatGPT and DALL-E and see what kind of image was generated. If you managed to create this, please let me know what your process was like in the comments below. I'd love to know. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and till the next video. See you!